return again. This captivity ain't permanent, no. I'm from Jerusalem, hey, we'll return again. This captivity ain't permanent, no. Sitting on
Salama family, how are y'all doing this evening? Hope everyone is well. I apologize, love. Go ahead and do your thing, Isha G.
Salama, everyone.
Yes, hope everyone had a wonderful Shabbat. I pray everyone has had a good day. I know it's been real crazy over there in the U.S. and man, it's a lot going on over there. And I pray that you guys are seeing the what do they say, the drawing on the wall? The writing on the wall. I hope you guys are seeing it because it is just getting wild over there.
Yeah, every day we are literally hearing new things that's going on over there, and it's like shocking us just how close it seems that everything is right now. It's just like, man, like any day now, right? But before we jump into something, it's something that we want to address. There has been some news floating around about civil unrest going on here in Tanzania
and Kenya.
Listen,
ain't nothing going on over here.
This is literally another tactic that's being used to try and stop people from coming here. There's nothing going on over here.
Nothing going on in Kenya.
There's nothing going on in Kenya. And for any of you that were planning on coming to Tanzania or going to Kenya, and you may be like, oh, I don't know if I should go now because it's civil unrest. There is nothing going on over here. Ain't no fighting going on over here. There's no fighting going on in Dar es Salaam. We know a lot of people in Dar es Salaam. It's nothing going on.
Right.
And if something did pop off, we let y'all know.
Right.
But ain't nothing going on.
Yeah, the only unrest going on over here is if you sleep wrong.
But other than that, it's peaceful. It's peaceful here. It's peaceful in our little village here. We still loving it here. And for the ones that's in Dar es Salaam, they still enjoying their time down there. So y'all, everyone, don't listen to every bit of news that you hear. If you hear something about the continent, Tanzania or whatever, reach out to somebody and ask them, hey, is this true? What's going on? And let us know. Don't feed into the news because these people are liars.
Yep. They just don't want y'all coming back to the continent. So any way they can deter you, they are going to try. All right. So family, we're going to go ahead and get ready to do this. So as you saw the title, Rise or Fall, right now is that moment. Israel, I hope y'all hear me. Right now is that moment, that defining moment. It's time for us to prove our worth, to prove to these people that, listen, we're not what they say we are. We're not what they think we are. We have to be what Yah says we are. And the time is now for us to begin to come together, to unite. You guys remember we did our panel discussion. And we got a few more of those coming in the future as well, where we're talking about us uniting as a people and showing the continent what we can do, not what they say we can do.
Right. So, for the most part, there's a lot of negativity when it comes down to the African in America. I like saying that now versus African American, the Africans in America. It's a lot of negativity that circles around our name. And it's, we've already talked about this. They do this. They're gangbangers. They're going to steal from you. They're going to be violent. They're very violent people. That's like one of the main things I hear. Like they say, oh, they're violent people. So don't allow them to come to your country. They're going to mess your country up. But all of those things that are being told to the leaders here on the continent, all those things are just to keep us apart. Those things are literally the same tactics that they have used for years. You guys remember growing up and you know, somebody saying, "Oh, you African. We didn't want to be called African." We were like, "I'm not African. Africans don't like us." And coming here, realizing that is not true.
The complete opposite.
It is opposite. Now, yeah, you got your bad apples in every bunch, you know, but
we got our bad apples
in
Israel too.
We Judah, so we know we got bad apples, right? But it's the same tactic. They use that to discourage us from ever wanting to come here. They use the pictures that they put on television to tell us their vision of Africa, and they all lived in huts and they were starving and they had flies flying all over them, and you know, it wasn't no water here, you know, it was no food. And so that Africa was the furthest thing from a lot of our minds. I know I was one, it was the furthest thing from my mind. However, on the other end, the African people were told things about us as well. Like someone mentioned in one of our previous shows that, oh, if you go to America, make sure you get with the Caucasian people because, you know, the Africans in America, they're bad. So those are all the crazy things that have been said about our people. And I just want to say this because I know a lot of you are planning on coming to the continent soon. And then our people in general, we know we have to all leave that place. But we can't just expect for the red carpet to be rolled out for us.
Right. That's
something that I want everybody to understand. We cannot expect for the red carpet just to be rolled out just because, hey, guess what? If you check my blood, my DNA says Africa. It says I'm from that continent. It's the red carpet ain't gonna roll out.
Right. And also, I mean, it was the same thing for a lot of us with our personal relationship with the Most High. The red carpet wasn't rolled out for us. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just, and as we all know, not all Hebrews is gonna make it in. Just because you Hebrew doesn't give you a first class ticket into the kingdom.
Right.
You know, so it's the same thing over here. And even when our people came out of Mitzrayim, Egypt, you know what I'm saying, back into their land, they had to fight. They had to prove their worth to get back in the land. So we're in the same spot again, y'all.
Now, yeah. I just want to clarify, we ain't doing no fighting because I know people be listening all in. But yes, we have to prove our worth. And I mean, y'all have to think about it. A lot of these leaders, I know we can talk about some of the negativities when it comes down to relocating to the continent. But y'all, these leaders, they don't know us. They don't know us. Some of them are well-traveled, but they don't know us on a personal level to really understand how we are, how we think, how we work, you know, the struggles that we've been through, and vice versa, you know. And so you can't expect for the leaders let's just open up the door to all the diaspora, because a lot of them, I'm sure they don't know what to think. And it's kind of like they're taking a gamble when they're hearing a lot of negativity, but they see certain things in the news. And so it's kind of like, well, what do I believe?
Right. Because also when these leaders from here would come to America, they're going to Washington, D.C., they're going to New York, to, you know, like government areas. They're not coming to our neighborhoods, whether it be the suburbs, the hood. They're not even coming out to Beyonce and Jay-Z's house. You know, they come, they stay in the government hotel, they handle their business, they get back on a plane, and they come back. So they don't have any interaction with us. So only thing they know is what they're being told by the people who, unfortunately, right now are giving them money, you know, giving them access to certain things. So it's kind of one of those things, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So we have to give them a reason to say, well, let me just look over here to this diaspora. You know, let me listen and see what they're talking about. What are they bringing to the table? We have to find a way to bring something to the table.
Right. So we have to prove that these other nations are wrong about us. And I'll say for the big majority of us, because, you know, I can't speak for every single African that's in America, right? I can't speak for everybody. But for the most part, I grew up in the hood. My husband grew up in the hood, and then we moved out of the hood when we got married. So I've lived in both areas. I've lived in predominantly Caucasian areas. I've lived in the hood, and so I know that not all of our people are troublemakers. And for a lot of our people who get into trouble, it is because of the things that has happened to us and how we are raised, single parent households. That's one of the biggest issues, not having the parents in the house, especially the fathers in the house.
More trouble in the white neighborhoods, though.
Undercover trouble. That's the real trouble in them neighborhoods right there. No, Sally and them, they 10 years old and they popping Molly. So,
you know what I'm saying?
So, it's not like that amongst our people. And our people genuinely have a good heart. We are normally a good-natured, good-tempered people as long as you don't mess with us. And it's like, even for our people, we don't just go off just with the snap of a finger. It normally is something that someone has done to push our people to that point. We don't just go off like that.
Yeah, something has to be wrong, because we as Black people, we don't just beat a Black man to death in the streets. So that lets you know something is wrong. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It just went down in Memphis. We don't do stuff like that. Let you know something's not right.
So we have to prove these other nations wrong. We have suffered, yes, exactly, from so much trauma that it causes our people to get in trouble. All the things that they have done to manipulate our people, to trick our people into doing illegal things, and then, locking our people up for the very illegal things that they are introducing and telling our people to do for them. So just so many of these things, misconceptions about us that the world has, and that's not who we are. And we know that's not who we are. And so, we have to prove these other nations wrong. And I know that we will, because I know that the Bible is true. I know that Abba's word is true. It doesn't lie. And so if he said we're going to do it, we're going to come together and everything, I know that we will. And that's why we're having these conversations, because we want our people, something to spark inside of our people, right? So that it spreads like wildfire for our people to really see, no, we do have to show them that we're not like that. Ultimately, like I always say, it's going to be Abba that does it. So, like, what do the other nations have, that we don't have? Right? I know a lot of people say, well, the other nations are supposed to build our cities, right? That's not our job. But guess what, y'all? That's not all the word says, right?
So let's go to the word. Let's just do that. Let's go to the word and let's see what the word says. So, hold on, y'all. I'm sharing the wrong one. Give me one moment. There we go. All right. So Isaiah 58. We're going to start at verse 10. We're going to go through 12. Let's see what it says. And if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry. Can we start at 9? Okay. Then let's start at 9. My bad. Then shalt thou call, and the Lord shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, Here I am. And if thou take away from the midst of thee thy yoke, the putting forth of the finger and speaking vanity, and if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. And the Lord shall guide thee continually and satisfy thy soul in drought and make fat thy bones. And thou shalt be like a watered garden and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called, the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in. All right, so now let's go to, bear with me. Let's go to Isaiah 61. And we're going to go to verses 1 through 4. The Spirit of Yahuwah is upon me, because the Lord have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He have sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers, we're going to go down to 5 here. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowman and your vine dresser.
Yeah, so I know that there are scriptures that say that the foreigners are going to build, right? And it is true. And that's what we're witnessing right now. You know, as we are here, we see foreign nations in our land. And I do continue to say our land. I don't care what no leader says. This is our land. We are from this continent. And our ancestors are from this continent. We were always supposed to be in this land. So the foreigners are building the land right now. They're building, they have a lot of stuff that they're doing right now. But the scriptures also say that we're supposed to build as well. You know, so I just want everybody to keep that in mind when it comes down to coming to the continent, because we're not just coming to the continent just for the sake of, oh, we home now. You know, there's things that we are supposed to do that we have been directed to do by the Most High already in the Word, that we are to come back over here and to build the land. And so, you know, it's a lot to be done over here. It's a lot to be done. And, you know, other nations, they don't have as many issues as us, right?
Right.
They come over here and they don't have too many issues with the governments and different things like that. But it's because of the way they come over here. And yes, we know a lot of them, they got the financial backing and everything like that. But we have the capital as well to do a lot of things if we unify. When we unify, we have the capital. And guess what? Not all businesses have to be giant corporations. Not all projects have to be billion-dollar projects. There are so many things that need to be done on a small scale that helps make everyday life run, right? So I just want to show y'all some different things when it comes down to these other nations that's operating here on the land. We see them every day, all day. They got a lot of stuff that they're doing here. So we just was curious about how many Chinese companies were in Africa.
So we Googled how many Chinese companies operate on the continent of Africa. Now, this is according to 3 different sources. There are more than 10,000 Chinese companies operating in Africa. 90% of them are privately owned.
That's a lot. That is a lot of companies in Africa, Chinese companies in Africa. And it's crazy because, you know, we don't see that many Chinese people. So, but it's a lot of them here. But the other question, we want to know about how many were actually here in Tanzania. And here it's over 500. It's over 500 Chinese companies that are in Tanzania, right? So it's crazy. Where is it? Because I don't want y'all to just think that we just pulling something. It's over 500 companies investing right now in Tanzania, and it's more. You know, it's more are coming every single day. Every single day. So, but they're not the only ones that are operating here. They're one of the biggest players on the continent right now, but they're not the only one. You got Indian companies. It's over 630 Indian companies. You know, and that's just in Tanzania alone.
Right.
And so, you know, that's a lot of them that's operating here on the continent. Some of the biggest projects right now that the Chinese got going on. I don't know if you guys heard about what is it? The railway that they've been building in Tanzania. There's what other projects do they have going on right now?
Pipeline.
Right. They have the pipeline that they have been doing in Tanzania. It was some smaller businesses too, some that I would not have thought they were doing. Oh, there it is. The railway they're doing, the textile mill, and a rice farm, and a sugarcane farm. Now, let me tell y'all something. So sugarcane, especially in Dar es Salaam, it's sold like on every corner. Sugarcane juice. And
it's so good.
Right?
So
it is so good. Right? And so Tanzania, the country, has some of the most fertile land, you know, for growing rice and everything like that. But the Chinese, the ones that got these big giant rice farms and sugarcane factories and textile mills. And so even though they have these things, some of these things we may not have the money to do, like a railway, but a farm, y'all, that's something that our people could come together and do. Manufacturing company for sugarcane, that's something our people can come together and do. You know, it don't always have to be big giant projects like the crude oil thing, or, you know, the railway, or the ports that they're building. But it's some things that we can do. We don't have to think that we're incapable of agriculture. Agriculture is in our blood. Even though we may not physically have planted when we were in America, Europe, wherever, agriculture is in our blood. That is something our people have always done, is agriculture, right? So there's another article I read, and it was just, it's an article, it's from a couple years ago, but it just really made me think. It talks about, where is it? Yeah, how Africa remains an untapped market for booming Black American businesses.
And you guys remember, I posted this I posted it on our community tab here in the channel. I also posted it in the Teo Ministries live group on Facebook, you know, and asking, how can we change this narrative? This was back in 2018, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, nothing as much has changed since then. Africa still remains, 2020, and nothing much hasn't changed since then. Africa still remains an untapped market for booming Black businesses in America. So why? How do we change that narrative? How do we we got plenty of Black businesses in America that are needed here on the continent, but no one is looking over here, you know, and most of these people, let's be honest, most of us who start these companies in America, we want to make it. Here in Africa, because they don't have a lot of the businesses we know about in the US, you could be a Fortune 500 company right here on the continent.
Right.
With your mom and pop shop, if that's what you got, you know?
It's a mom and pop shop there, but here it doesn't have to be a mom and pop shop. So like the area we live in, it's huge. The region we live in, it's called Tonga. And here where the city part is, there's one major restaurant as far as what we all are accustomed to. And when I tell you this restaurant, there are certain times where this restaurant is packed. It's a smaller restaurant, but big enough. And it's packed. There's no seats, and especially when Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays get here, it's no seats. It's the only one downtown. The only one. Yet they got giant behind empty buildings that they were left behind. Literally, the Germans built them a long time ago, and that's the city right now. And they're big buildings, but a lot of them are empty. They just literally need to be, just need a little bit of work, a little TLC.
As we like to say, a little woman's touch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you can open your businesses there. I keep saying this because I'm quite tired of it. If I want really nice hair supplies, I really have to purposely go and really search. And most of the time, I'm not going to find what I'm looking for.
Pretty much.
There are no real beauty supply stores unless you go to Dar es Salaam at the mall, and then they don't even have a lot of stuff that we're accustomed to having. So it's just so many things. It's so many things that we could do, as a nation. And so even though these other nations are building, they still run into a problem here. The problem is, even though they help build Africa, they only help build it to a certain extent. Because y'all know how it goes. They're not from here. They're not trying to, put all the money back into Africa. So they don't recycle that money back into Africa. They'll help build a bridge. They'll open their businesses here, make their money. But guess where that money going? They sending it to their countries.
Back to Europe, back to China, back to America, back to India. Y'all know in Italy, they have, here in Tanzania, there's a lot of Tanzanite mines, okay? Hence the name, Tanzanite. So they sell the Tanzanite to India and to Italy because they don't have the machines here to manufacture it into the jewelry, right? And then Italy will say that it's Tanzanite from Italy. How do you get Tanzanite from Italy? There's no Tanzanite over there. Same thing in India. So they're taking stuff from here, and then they're giving these people cheap money for the stones, and because they're going and refining it, they're making all the money. And that's what they do here. They come here, they take the minerals, they take everything, and they give the African countries nothing pretty much for it.
They get the smallest percent because they can't produce the finished product. So they're literally selling the raw material, but people are not after raw material. People are not going to the store to buy a cocoa bean. People going to the store to buy chocolate. People not going to the jewelry store to buy a diamond that's still inside of the coal.
Right.
They're looking to buy a nice diamond inside of a ring, polished up and everything. So that's, the biggest issue here in Africa is they don't have the machinery a lot of times to produce the finished product. And so
a lot of times what happens is these countries don't know. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying these countries want to keep these things here, but they lack the mechanical engineers to manufacture the machines that it takes to make steel beams, to make the diamonds out of the coal, to break the tanzanite out of the rocks. Now you have some people here who do it by hand, but that's time consuming, very time consuming. And so they don't have these things. So when these countries come and say, hey, I'll give you this, because the problem is they want that fish right now instead of learning how to fish to always have food.
Right. So it's like, how do we stand apart from these companies? Because it's kind of like, well, we ain't got, money to build these giant structures and bridges and all kind of stuff like that. So how do we stand apart from these companies? You know, we have to do something that is different, that actually gets the nation's attention, to say, you know, these people, they do have what we need here. There's something else that I don't know if you guys know. We don't need to start giant businesses. I don't know, 99.9% of the economy in the US is run off of small business, small to medium sized businesses. And that's businesses that have 500 or less employees. That's what makes the economy run. It's not really the big corporations. That's only 1% in the US. So it's the smaller businesses that make the economies run. So I would say what we see right now, we see a lot of big businesses with these foreign countries, but we don't see a lot of the small businesses that make life easier for people to live over here. So it's like it's an untapped market when you look at that right there. So that's just something I just wanted to put out there, just for anybody who's like, well, we ain't got money for all that. You don't need money for all of that. The thing we bring to the table is we have run businesses. We have worked in the corporations and everything. We have made the machines. You know, we know how to take them apart, put them together. We know how to make the machines.
And let's just be honest. Look, yep, Brother Tor said it. 99% of us have been working jobs where we had a white person over us because they was white. You know, they mama, they daddy, or some relative was owning the company, and they let them have that management position. But who was the one really doing all the work, making everything, making them look good? It was us.
Right.
It was us. So we can run these things over here. And you know, I know it's hard for you guys who have not been to the continent. Until you come here and see, you'll see something just riding down the street and be like, man, why are they doing it like that? It could be done like this, and boom, there's a business. Let me tell y'all something. Here in Tanzania, there is no lawn service businesses. The people here, they use a sickle, and they be swinging that thing left and right, cutting grass. They don't use lawnmowers. They got them, but the people don't purchase them. So, look, a lawn care service. And here's the situation. I know y'all like, yeah, but we talking about big businesses. Again, like my wife said, it does not have to be a big business. During the gold rush, you know, our brother RJ over in Senegal, he was talking to us, and he was like, during the gold rush back in the US, who made more money? The people who were mining for gold, or the people who were selling the shovels? It was the people who were selling the shovels, because not everybody found gold, but everybody needed a shovel. So that's what we have to do here, is find that shovel.
Right. Find the shovels and have those the locations, you know, posted up everywhere, selling them shovels.
Yep.
You know, so the thing that we bring to the table is, yeah, the small business, the knowledge that we have, but also we're coming here to stay. When we come over here and we start our businesses, we're not trying to run back to the US or Europe or whatever. We're coming over here to stay here. So the money that is made is actually going right back in to the continent, the countries that we reside in. It's not going back to China. It's not going back to America. It's not going back to India. All that money is going to be recycled right back into the country.
Right, because we live here. So that means we're going to be spending that money here. So that same $1 billion that was spent to go see what the first Black Panther movie, imagine that being done here, because until that dollar crashes over there, it still holds a lot of weight over here when you transfer it into the money over here.
Right.
You know, so that money, that buying power that we have goes a long way over here if we can come together and unite and say, hey, let's work together instead of being divided, because the enemy's plan has always been for us to be divided, to be separated. So we fight and we come together and say, no, I'm going to do unto my brother as I want done unto me. And I'm going to have no other Elohim, but the Elohim of Yasharel is not going to have any issues.
Right. And, you know, it's a lot of things that, like I say, we learn from each other. But it's a lot of things that we could teach them. They have construction companies, but a lot of the best ones are Indian or Chinese
or Arab.
You know, they're the ones that's running everything over here. As far as the businesses and stuff go, construction and everything. But the thing is, we know a lot of what they call fundis that build over here. They have the knowledge to build. They can build a house, but they don't know how to finish it.
Right.
That's the problem.
And they don't have the proper tools.
Right. And because they don't have the proper tools,
they can't compete.
And they can't finish the houses properly. You know, so it's things that we can teach them, bring over here and say, use this tool. Don't use that one. You're going to have a more accurate cut if you use this. You're going to cut that slab of granite better if you use a wet saw, not a dry saw. So
how you putting that man on blast? Putting that man on blast.
Just something that we experienced personally. So yeah, it's things like that we bring to the table. So I just want to show y'all some opportunities real quick here that's in Tanzania. And this is really throughout the whole continent. And this is off the Tanzania investment website. And you can go to any country, or you can Google any country and say what opportunities or what investment opportunities are there in whatever country. But I'm just going to show some for Tanzania right now because this is where we are.
But y'all see that right there? That's what's on the continent.
These are all the investment opportunities here. Mining, gas exploration, agriculture here.
IT.
I keep telling, because I've had IT people ask me, do they need IT?
Yes.
Here you go. They need IT. It's one of the fastest sectors growing here in Tanzania, right? They need IT desperately, y'all. We use their websites.
We on one of the websites that don't always be working as well.
You know, environment and energy. Yes, this is very important. Even though they've been doing a lot of work, I'll say speak to electricity right now. They've been doing a lot of work to improve the electricity, but we still get the power outages. And then there's certain places.
Had one today. Didn't know if we was gonna make this show tonight.
Right. There are certain places that still don't have electricity, you know. So Dar es Salaam is the major city. There are smaller cities, but Dar es Salaam is the one that it has better quality when it comes down to certain things.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that, but electricity, energy is something. The Indian companies, they are investing heavy into solar power and wind power. They're investing heavy in the continent. They're like the second biggest investor right now in Africa. For all of my doctors, nurses,
nurse practitioners,
all my natural doctors,
chiropractors, mental health doctors, they need you over here.
This is the area that we're lacking in over here. It's a real sad thing. If you have a really bad situation, it don't even have to be dire, but most of the hospitals are not capable to handle a lot of the real emergency situations. You have to go to Dar es Salaam. They need hospitals throughout where you have these big pockets of city. Even though the city we live in, it's a lot bigger, the region than Dar es Salaam, a lot bigger than Dar es Salaam, but it's way less people that live here in this region. I don't even think it's 1 million people in this region. Dar es Salaam got I think about 8 million.
Mm-hmm.
So the construction industry.
All my civil engineers, infrastructure people, they need help with roads. They need help with drains to when it rains. They need, if it's construction, they need it.
Yes.
So, man, I wish I still had my other phone is messed up. I wish I could have had some pictures to show y'all some of the things we've seen at some of these construction sites. If you guys have ever seen a construction site, you see the metal scaffolds. that they be standing on, the ones they use here are made of wood. And it's just some sticks. It's not even like a bunch of 4x4s nailed together good.
They chopped down some trees
Mm-hmm.
that had a smaller trunk, and that's what they use.
And I'm talking about like downtown. That's what they're using.
So, you know, construction industry, consumer goods. Yes, this is a big area right here. Even in Dar es Salaam, this right here is needed because you can't find a lot of things unless you go to the mall. But consumer goods are definitely needed. The area we live in, man, a lot of people need to come up here and start looking around and see, okay, what can we build here? They need plazas, all sorts of things built here because even though downtown is cool, it don't seem like they in a rush to fix it. Mm. You know,
let's read this here for a moment, y'all, about the consumer goods. It says the local industry accounts for some 15% of the consumer goods used in Tanzania. It is mainly limited to the processing of agricultural products and light consumer products. The gap of 85% is imported from South Africa, Kenya, the Middle East, India, the Far East, which is Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, China, Japan, the US, and the UK. Why? Everything is here. They have everything here, but they don't have the manufacturing plants to manufacture these things. So they are losing out on money by having these foreign countries. So here's what I'm saying is the foreign countries buy these products from here. They take it back to their country, take it to their manufacturing plants, and they manufacture and then sell it back to Tanzania for triple, quadruple the price sometimes. It's crazy.
Right. I mean, I'm going to say something like this. I know that, you know, the cereal in the U.S. ain't good for you, but sometimes we don't be feeling like cooking all the time. Right? You know, but here we have to cook all the time because the cereal, oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. How expensive cereal is out here. Yeah, now a small box.
Now I know things are expensive in the U.S. right now. I know some of y'all paying $15 for 12 eggs.
So, so think back 5 years ago. Put your mind there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cereal is very expensive out here. It's ridiculous.
And I miss my Fruity Pebbles.
So what's some other industries that they need? The financial services. Mm-hmm. You know, that's an area that our people need as Africans in general, whether it's a diaspora, we need this financial services. You know, our own banks, like you just said, that's on here. Non-financial institutes. We need those. Mining. You know.
Talked about that earlier. Textiles.
Oh, textiles. So I wanted to touch on this one because a lot of times you guys, when someone comes to Africa and you're like, bring me back a nice piece of fabric, bring me back a nice dress or a nice wrap or something from Africa. Okay, I want y'all to know that most of that material is from China. It's not made in Africa. It's made right in China. Mm-hmm. And they sell it to Africa, and Africa sells it to, you know, the people that's trying to make dresses or whatever. The material is not from here. Most of it is from China. So
well, it is from here, but they don't have the plant to make it into what you're going to buy. That's why the same thing again, it goes, no,
it's from China.
All of it.
Mm-hmm. Because
I just learned something.
I've asked the vendors and different ones like that. And I'm not saying they don't make some things here, but most of it is not from here. It's from China. So y'all probably don't have any authentic African wraps or material. Tourism.
There's nothing to do. They don't have bowling alleys. For those of you who know what Top Golf is, there's nothing like that. There's no arcades, you know, not like the arcades that we know back in the States. There's no skating rinks. Come on, Judah. Y'all know how we feel about skating. They ain't got no skating rinks.
So y'all, I'm so tired of when our people, our nations here on the continent, they say, what do you have to offer for tourists? We have the safaris.
And how much is that safari?
It's expensive, it's on what, but my issue is not with the price. My issue is the fact that nobody wants to spend 10 days on a safari. Nobody wants to go to 10 different safaris. People want other stuff to do.
Yeah.
So
Safari is still nice, don't get me wrong.
It's nice, but we have to have more than safaris. When you see Africa tourism and stuff, that's the main thing you see, safaris. I love animals. I'm an outdoors person. I grew up watching Animal Planet, Nat Geographic. My dad got me on that as a little girl. I love animals, but I don't want to look at animals every day.
Right.
We need other stuff to do. So y'all know, what was that movie, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come.
Yep.
We need to build some things out here, and it will improve the tourism industry out here, where they can actually bring in more money because they have more tourists out here.
Right. Also, transportation systems are needed. Now, they do have buses, they do have cabs here in Dar es Salaam, but they are just getting these things up and really running, so they need help there. That's another area that they need help. Also with transportation, that's talking about the ports that are being built. They need people to transport stuff from the ports to other countries.
And I'm gonna say with transportation, because a lot of times I know they're doing the best they can out here with what they have, but like the buses and everything, they're overcrowded. Like literally, you got people on top of you on the buses, and then the buses are very old. They got smoke, heavy smoke coming out of the back, a lot of them, and they're just not proper for transporting people back and forth. They're breaking down sometimes on the road, and I know they break down in the U.S., but they're just not proper buses for transportation.
Right.
So, these are some of the areas I would say, well, not say, but just in Tanzania that are needed. It's a lot of opportunities here. I'm reading the comment.
Oh.
So, it's just a plethora of things. It's like something we said. If you say, I don't know what to do, you can write down 20 things, put it on the wall, take a dart, throw it with your eyes closed, and whatever it lands on is needed here. Is needed here. Schools are needed here. Things for the children who are too young to go to school are needed here. It's a lot that's needed. But one of the things is our people, when they come out here, a lot of times they say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but then they don't do it, right? And I get it. Sometimes it can be challenges with the government and different things like that. But I think sometimes our people give up too fast, give up too fast. Y'all know we've been pushing with these parts here for close to a year now.
Right. And, while we got y'all on here, let me go ahead and give y'all an update to what's going on with the parks. So here's the situation with the parks. We have exhausted all avenues with the government at this time.
As far as working together.
I'm trying to find a nice way to put this. The government hands is kind of tied on some things. They're getting pressure because there's so many of us coming over here. And so they have to make it hard on us to accomplish things over here. And that's why the Most High put it on my wife and I's heart to begin to start having these conversations. We look at these other nations and we say, what are they doing? So how did they get in good? What they did was they came to the different African countries, and we were talking to another local Tanzanian, and he was saying that these people, what they do, they come here and they go straight to the village first. They don't go downtown Dar es Salaam. They go to the village and they build boreholes, which is a well, and they put a pump on it and they provide water for the people there. They bring medicine in. They do little free clinics to help the people in the villages who don't have access to medical help, don't have access to clean water. They put these things there and they win the people over. And once they have won the people over, the people are going to talk. Now, one thing about the African countries, they don't want to look bad. So they're going to now reach out and say, hey, we've heard that you've been doing this and you've been doing that. How can we come together? And so that's what I'm saying we have to do is start small, start doing little things in the different little communities, win the people over, show the people that we're not vacationers. Vacationers are the ones who come here and they're just here for a couple of months. They come here, you live like a rock star because that little $600 every 2 weeks check that you was making, you can come over here and live like a king. You know, you come over here on your vacation, you balling, and then you leave. We have to show them that, no, we're here to help better the country. We're here to help. And it doesn't matter what country. I'm talking about all African countries that we are the Most High sends us to. We show them that we are here to build, to keep the money flowing in the African community.
Right. So, you know, we have to hold on. And I want to say with the parts, we're not giving up. We're just going a different route. You know, like they say, it's more than one way to skin a cat. The cat gonna get skinned regardless.
Yeah, the park gonna get built.
You know, and
that's just the beginning.
But that's the thing. We have to keep persevering. Don't give up just because you had a little challenge here. Or just because, well, this avenue didn't work right here. That doesn't mean give up. That doesn't mean that you can't go this way to accomplish what you're trying to do. There are more ways to accomplish this thing. But most of the time, I can say what we have heard is our people come here and they say they're going to do it. And when I guess a little challenge comes, or maybe they just decide they don't want to stay, I don't know. And they don't do it. So, we have to literally prove, like I said, our worth. We can't just come over here and feel like we're entitled. We have to prove what we're worth. Granted, yes, our people are gonna come over here on the mass, but right now, it's just a few that's trickling in, right? Well, it's a lot of us trickling in, but we have to do what we say we're going to do. And we can't, say that we have faith and we don't put works behind it.
Right.
Faith without works is dead. So you can't say I have faith that, the Most High wants me to do this and you don't put forth any effort because it's like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, you just have to start walking. And as you walk, the Most High will lead you. You don't have to always know where you're going. You don't always have to know who to talk to. Just start moving. Right. Just start walking. Just start looking around. Look at the needs. Just start. And as you do that, the Most High will guide your footsteps.
Right. Just like he did during the first Exodus. Yes, he provided everything they needed, but not we still read how they still had to sometimes get their hands dirty. I'm not talking about we have to do a physical fight right now, but I mean getting our hands dirty, getting out there and might have to go out there and dig these wells ourselves.
Right.
Go out here and do these different things ourselves to show them that, hey, we're really here. Like, for example, the village we live in, there was a problem where the rain had eroded the road so bad. Our neighbors, every time they would leave in their cars, they would hit this dip and they'd be tearing up the bottom of their cars. So I went to them and I was like, hey, let's come up with a plan to fix the road so that you're not tearing up your car. So we came up with a plan and we got the road fixed. We got some cement, got some rocks, got some sand. We mixed it and we put it down. And now no more issues. Right.
And we're getting ready to do a couple more. Just because it's the same thing in the area we live in, the rain just really does a number on the roads and the people, it's hard to get in and out of the neighborhood. So in our immediate area, this is where we live. So it's like, we're starting here. We're just like, you know what, this needs to be done. So let us do it. So we walked around our neighborhood the other day to find out which roads are the worst, that people are no longer driving down because of the erosion from the rain. And so we're getting ready to have a couple more of the roads done because it needs to be done. And it helps us where the people see that you're here to actually be a part of the community and to help the community. And somebody brought up boreholes. Yes, Miss Carol, that's the next thing on our list for our community. We're starting here in the neighborhood we live in because in our community there are no wells.
Right. So talk to them about what our neighbors have to do.
So every day, right, our neighbors, there's a house that is not finished being built as of yet. And so they have what really is a septic tank. Is really deep. And water fills up in it. And so our neighbors go there every day, like 3 times a day, to draw water from that cistern. And the cistern is dry now. And so we've been giving our neighbors water because our water is connected to the city. They can't afford to have the water connected for them. And that's with a lot of the people in our areas. And so it was something that I'm thankful. It sucked going through it, but I'm so thankful that the Most High allowed us to go through it. Not too long after, about 2 months ago now, something started happening with our tank, and we weren't getting water in our house. And so we're like, what is going on? We don't have any water. What are we going to do? And so our neighbors were very kind, and the neighbor across the street, he was like, don't worry, here, how many, jugs of water you need? He was giving us water. And even the neighbors next door, they were getting it from the cistern. They was like, you need water here, you can have one. But I didn't want to take the water at first from no cistern, right? But so we
now explain what we look. We're gonna be honest. When we come from the U.S., we come from very clean water. We were used to a certain thing. It's not that the water is bad. It can be brown sometimes.
And it's literally just from the dirt of the brick, because it's just raw open brick, inside. So we were having help from a friend at the time. We were going back and forth to get water and everything, but then we couldn't use that avenue anymore, right? And so we're like, what are we gonna do? We don't have any water. So I'm like, well, I guess we going down to this cistern.
Yeah. So Isha G, she was down there. She had the bucket. And dropping it down in there.
She taught me how to drop the bucket down and to catch the water and everything. And so I had to lug water back and forth so we could actually put water in our tank to be able to take showers and flush the toilet and things like that. And so we had to do that for a few days.
Yeah.
And then finally, after about a week or two, something like that, we found out, there's a guy who actually delivers water. And so it was for a very reasonable price. And so these guys would fill the water. We had a bunch of water jugs because we had to end up buying a bunch of water. So they take the jugs, fill them up with clean water for us, bring it to us, and they would put it in our tank for us.
Now, I do want to say, to us, it was a reasonable price. It was 20,000 T shillings, which is roughly about what? $6?
Yeah, I think
it's about $6. But it was sad for me because our neighbors couldn't afford that. Mm-hmm. So that's why we share our water with them. That's the other thing that we have to do when we come here is we have to mingle with the locals. We can't come here and want to stay separated and not understand the struggles that they go through. That's another thing, like I said, that these other nations did. They came here and they went and they lived in the villages and they found out the struggles of the people here. And then they found out, how can I help? Because once they find out how they can help, if these people here, if you take care of them, they will take care of you.
Yeah.
Our neighbors love us because we help them, they help us,
Right.
you know, and so that's what we have to do is come here and learn to work with them and make, because there's things we don't know. Y'all know what the scripture says. Our whole culture was taken from us. A lot of them are still living the culture. They don't know why they do the things the way they do it. They've always been doing it.
Right. So that I'm glad that we went through that experience, because I was able to identify with the struggle that they go through. It's one thing where you're sitting in your nicely built house and your nicely built house and you actually have your water and everything running. You can't identify with the struggles that they go through. You know, you can't identify with people who don't have a regular stove to cook on until you actually are in the boat where you don't have a stove to cook on, and you got to cook on this little thing that you got to fan a million times for the flame to actually cook your food.
Right.
So we have been through those things here. And so it helps us to see the needs of the people. It's not just well, it would be nice if they had, you know, a borehole. No, they need boreholes out here.
Mm-hmm.
They need them desperately.
Because they need to survive. And without that water, look, y'all know you can go without eating for a long time, but you can't go without water.
Right. So these are just some things, and these are some areas where you can start. You know, you can start when you come over here. It's businesses that you find the right person, you could get accounts with the government and actually be the ones to start building certain things like that. No, it is not filtered. It's not filtered. So we wouldn't drink it, but we took our showers with it.
Wash clothes, wash dishes.
Right. And then we had to sanitize the dishes and everything afterwards. But we bought our drinking water because no, it's not filtered. But you know, when push comes to shove like that, it's like I don't know what to do. You know, you get down there and start getting some water too. You know, it was a bad experience, but it was a good experience also. Miss Carol, as long as you got permission from the chief, that's pretty much all that you need.
Yeah, and the chief. So your chief is like in the States, your local city councilman. You just go and tell them, hey, I'm going to put this here for the community. And again, it ain't about us. So like the things that we're doing, he can take the credit for it. I just want the people to have access to water. You know, I don't want credit for nothing. You know, we just want to, whatever is going to open up the door for the people to have, you know, let's do it. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sky. He's the chairman in the area who's the representative for the government. So long as you get permission from him, you're good to go. And 9 out of 10 times, he's going to tell you yes.
Right, because they want to see their people have the things that they want also. So we've started talks with the chief in this area and different people in our neighborhood.
Now, I just want to answer this right here. Just like One Nation Under Black, that's right. If it's your land, you can build a borehole on it. So, you know, through a company here, like for those who have companies here, you can buy land in your company name and you can put a borehole there and open it up to the public.
Yes. And like we said, a lot of times land is not expensive out here. Certain areas that they know are getting ready to be really built up, the prices are starting to go up, but it's still very reasonable for us coming from the US and the UK, you know. So yeah, it's so much that needs to be done, and there's so many opportunities out here. And so Miss Carol, and there was one other lady that wanted some information about the boreholes and everything. If you guys could please email us.
Yeah, we have Miss Carol's email.
Yeah, Miss Carol, we'll reach out to you. But there was another young lady in the chat that was talking about she wanted information about the boreholes. Reach out to us because, like I say, we've been talking to the community. We've been talking to the chief. It it was kind of, I don't want to say nerve wracking, but how we met the chief, I was just like kind of like, well, what's going on? But I'm thankful that we were able to meet him because he's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
he's a really nice guy. Even though I don't celebrate New Year's, like where we came from in Dar es Salaam, this didn't happen. We were there last week. This man went to everybody's house in the community, knocked on a gate, and said, Happy New Year's. I want to just come over here and tell you Happy New Year's. He literally was walking through the neighborhood on his, like walking his bicycle, telling everybody Happy New Year. And so I don't know what to say for people who have an issue when they come over here with the people. I don't know what to say because the people have just been really kind over here to us.
right. And you know, it's kind of one of those things. Also, you're gonna receive the energy you give off. You know, you give a crappy attitude, you're gonna get a crappy attitude in return. You know, you come out here and you show the light of Yah. Who can stand against it? So, you know, like I said, you know, this is our defining moment, Israel.
Yes.
Are we going to come together and prove our worth? We're going to prove to these people that we are returning home, not visiting home. We're returning home to build our home.
Yes.
The Most High is using us to build our land. Like the scriptures we read earlier. Yes, the foreigners are going to build it, but so are we.
Yes.
You know, I mean, let's think about in Exodus when the tabernacles was being built. The Most High, he said, I put wisdom in this one. I put wisdom in that one. And I put wisdom in this one on how to do these things. So don't worry about, I don't have the skill to do this. There's something you do know how to do that, you know, we can use if we come together and put our minds together, because sometimes it takes somebody that's thinking out of the box, because guess what? You're going to have people who know construction, who know the hospital, who know finances, but they can't think of everything. But because you don't have any skill set in that, something might come to you and you might be like, well, what about this? It'll be something they didn't think of that could change the whole game, change the whole narrative. But that's why we have to unite and all put our heads together and get on one accord and say, how can we build, not just for us, but for the locals as well. I really hate calling them locals. They're our brothers and our sisters, you know.
Right. And we have to show them that, yes, you are my brother. Yes, you are my sister. And even if they treat us wrong, y'all, you know, it hurts when some people treat us wrong, but it's not the majority, right? And then the thing is, when you show the love of Yah to these people, it causes them to take a step back and be like, man, I did that to them, but they're still helping us. They're still helping the community. You get what I'm saying? They didn't run away like the other people. We do have to show that we do want to be here. We sincerely want to connect back with our brothers and sisters here. I sincerely want to meet an elder over here that can tell me some history about Tanzania before the Germans were here. It's only been a country for 61 years. But when I ask the question about the elders and I'm trying to find out more information, a lot of them, they say it's not important. I desire to learn more about the continent. I desire to learn more about our people, right? So, you know, we have to come over here with the right mindset, with the right heart, and show them that we really are a part of them. We really are. Give them the understanding that we are the same people. We may have grown up in different places, but we are the same people. We are brothers and sisters. And I know some people be like, not everybody over there is us. I get it. But I'm not talking about them people. I'm talking about the ones that are us.
And the ones that the Most High directs us to.
Okay. For anybody that wants information on the borehole, we're going to put the email Well, it's going across the screen here.
Just look at the bottom of the screen, the little thing going across at the bottom. Stepping stones to home at gmail.com is our email. You know, please just email us and say we would like information on the boreholes, you know, and we will get that to you. Also, before we get off of here, we just want to remind everybody some of the things that we want to do over here, we can't talk about on YouTube. So the last Sunday of February, we're going to be doing instead of coming on live, we're going to do a Zoom call. Our brother Floyd Spears is going to help us put that together. We're going to do a Zoom meeting with those who are interested in having that real conversation about what we can do here on the continent, not just in Tanzania. I'm talking about the continent. This is all our land, y'all. Sub-Saharan Africa is our land. So what can we come together? What can we accomplish? You know, even if it's starting off small, doing something. So if you would like to be a part of that Zoom, we're going to put the email in the chat as well. Please send us an email and just say, hey, I would like to be a part of the Zoom call. Please add my email and name to the list. And then the weekend before the 26th, we will send out the link to everyone that wants to be a part of it, where we can have that real nitty-gritty talk and start putting some plans together.
Right. And it's good to have these plans. If, you know, we're going to let the Most High lead. I'll say that. We're going to let him lead. And it's good to have these things because I know a lot of people are getting ready to come over here. And so if you could have something that you have already started before you get over here, for some people that have been concerned about an income, you could be making some income with getting some of these things built over here, right? So, Brother Floyd, we got you. You could be making some income, getting yourself set up. I'll say that for when you get over here. So that's something that people have to consider. If you're planning on coming within the next year or two, see about setting something up over here on the ground.
We got you, Linya. We got you.
You know, let's see about setting something up here on the grounds, because then, you know, you invest in one of the Diaspora businesses over here, or even if one of the ones in the chat say, I'm leaving in the next few months and I want to start this business, I'm looking for investors, whatever. You invest in something that when you get over here, you can have some things set up already for you and your family. So those are just some things to consider when we're talking about building together. It's not just to make money, but we need money to live. You know, we can't come over here and just live in a house. You know, right. We can't come over here with no money. And I love Tanzania, but as of right now, it's not one of those countries where you can pay $500 every year
and stay.
You know, so you need to, if you can, invest in something so you actually have something flowing in already. If you know that I don't want to work online, I'm not planning on working online, you can invest. I know some people say, oh, you got to have the online business. It's good to have an online business. I'm not going to lie. But that is not the only way that you can make something happen where you can live over here and right. You can get residency. And that doesn't just go for Tanzania.
Right. And I'm going to add this. Look, y'all see what's going on over in the U.S. right now. They're getting surrounded by Russia and China. You know, things are getting real crazy over there. And the time is going to come where that American dollar ain't going to be worth nothing. So it's good to, okay, Baba, thank you. It's good to have these things set up here on the continent, because while all this foolishness is going on around the world, we're going to be in a place of safety.
Right.
You know, and look, all these other countries know, and that's why the race for Africa is on. The next juggernaut is Africa, but it always was a juggernaut. The people here just didn't know. And now we can come back and help them to become who they've always been, the juggernaut that they always have been.
Right. Right. So yes, Mr. Sky, we gonna get together and let's see how we can get this done over here.
Yes.
So y'all, that's what we have for tonight.
Yeah.
Well, it's night for us. I know not for y'all, most of y'all.
But we thank y'all for taking time out y'all day.
I just want to say before we get off of here, if anybody has any questions, I want to give y'all an opportunity to ask some questions before we get off tonight. If y'all don't, if they say if all hearts and minds are clear.
So while we give y'all a few minutes, I'm just going to say this real quick. This message tonight really needs to get out to our people. So you guys, do us a favor. Please like this video. All right. And after the live is over, go back and comment. Okay. Because that helps us with the algorithm to get people to see this message. Also, share it on your Facebooks, your Instagrams, Twitter, whatever you got, TikTok, I don't care. Share it because we need to get this message out that our people need to come together and we need to start changing the narrative of what they say we can do.
Right.
The Most High said we can do all things through Yahusha, who strengthens us, but we can do absolutely nothing without him. So we all need to come together because if we don't, we're just going to fail. So do that for us. Please like it, share it, comment.
Yes.
Nawe Pia, daughter of Yahuwah. Hallelujah.
Yes. So yeah, everybody, thank you all for just listening. It means so much to us when you guys listen, and we know that there are other people who they have the same heart and the same mind. It means a lot because it helps us to know that the Most High has connected different ones' hearts. He's given the desire to more than just the two of us, or four as far as other couples that we know over here. So it means a lot. And so we're very appreciative of you guys, everybody that's been supporting us.
Yes.
We are very appreciative. We got a lot of work to do.
But we ready to get our hands dirty.
Yes.
We're not gonna let the giants in the land scare us.
Right.
We're gonna go chop some heads off.
Right.
So all right, I don't see any questions. So family, we love y'all. And listen, that's not generic. We love y'all because we deal with the Most High, who is love, and we have to love each other. And if I don't love y'all, then I don't love myself. That's the word. And so in order for me to accomplish what the Most High has put in my heart to do, we got to put these messages out there. We got to position ourselves to receive what he wants to give us. We cannot be stiff-necked and hard-headed like our ancestors were. Because look, after this, the book ends. There's no more captivity after this. There's just the end. And I'm trying to be on the right side of the end.
Amen. And with that, y'all have a great night. Usiku to the ones that are in Tanzania, and we love y'all.
All right, family. Shalom.